Welcome, students. Today, in the ethologies chapter, we are going to learn about hormones and behavior. Uh, in this section, first point is about mood. Mood of an animal is controlled by the circulating hormones. Mood is controlled, emotion is controlled by the level of hormones that is circulating in the body of that particular being. It is evident in animals with seasonal reproductive behavior. So we are going to see so many instances. Hormones and reproductive behavior. Hormones and reproductive behavior. We are going to see an example. It is relating with the melatonin. Melatonin hormone. Melatonin is secreted by the pineal gland. And what is the importance of this melatonin? It has inhibitory effect. Inhibitory effect on what? The growth of gonads. It inhibit the growth of gonads. What? This melatonin. Okay. Then during daytime, the level of melatonin will be less. During night time, its level increases. This diurnal variation in the level of melatonin is controlled by epinephrine, which is secreted from the sympathetic nervous system. Secreted by the sympathetic nervous system. And in the case of some birds, during a season in which the day length is more, what is happening in such birds? We know that during daytime the level of melatonin is very less. So it cannot inhibit the growth of gonads. So the gonad size will increase and results in the secretion and release of more sex hormones, and that may lead to the onset of its reproductive behavior. Okay, that way this hormone melatonin level is indirectly controlling the reproductive behavior of bird. Next, we are going to see another example, that is pigeons' reproductive behavior. What is the role of these hormones? This is the female pigeon. So male. Uh, when this female start to live, or it sees a male, their courtship, their living together stimulates its hypothalamus of female, and the hypothalamus stimulate pituitary to secrete FSH and the LH hormone. Under the influence of these two hormones, ovary start to grow, and from the ovary another hormone called estrogen is secreted. Then by the influence of estrogen, reproductive tract of the pigeon start to grow, and along with that the pigeon develop the habit of building the nest. During the time it is building the nest, that courtship continues, and uh, the two pigeons copulate. Copulate means it undergoes the sexual dealings. Sexual action happens between the male and female. And then what happens? It lays the egg. And during that time, another hormone called the progesterone is secreted. In males also that time progesterone is secreted, and this progesterone induces the incubation behavior in females, and that time prolactin, another hormone, that also secreted in females, and this prolactin inhibits the level of or secretion of FSH and LH. So the sexual behavior reduces, diminish, and as the male also start to secrete progesterone, he also loses the sexual behavior. Instead of that, he also helps the female in incubation. Okay, then as by the influence of prolactin hormone in females, the crop develop, increase its size for feeding purpose. Then after 14 days of incubation, the egg open, and the this egg ones comes out, and the female again feeds its small young ones with the milk extruding from the crop. So many hormones are playing role in its life cycle, in its reproductive behavior. It's about the pigeon's reproductive cycle. After so many days, when the prolactin level comes down, then again FSH and LH level become increase, or it rises, and again another cycle starts. Then hormones and sexual behavior. Hormones and sexual behavior. We are taking the case of rat. In the case of a rat, what is happening there? Um, in female rat, during its estrus cycle, during its cycle means reproductive cycle, estrogen's level increase. Estrogen's level increase. What is the role of this estrogen? Means in the condition that the condition of high level of estrogen, the perineal nerve, perineal nerve that supplying, I'll write perineal nerve, that this nerve is supplying to the genital region of female rat, and as it is gets stimulated, the sensory field around its genital region becomes stimulated and extended. Sensory field extended. And as a result, then it is very easy for that female to get stimulated or sensitized by the thrust of male penis. So that's showing the influence of this estrogen hormone, how it helps the reproduction of rats. Things clear. Okay, that is hormones, how hormones is playing a role, how it is controlling that reproductive behavior or sexual behavior, so not reproductive, sexual behavior in such an example. Then next one, hormones and maternal behavior. For that I am removing all these marks. Okay, hormones and maternal behavior. A role of prolactin. What's the role? I already told you what's the role of prolactin. It is responsible for initiating feeding behavior. Yeah, under the influence of prolactin, female crop increases size and start to exude milk. That is the role of prolactin. Then what is the role of progesterone? Progesterone induces incubation behavior. Under the influence of progesterone, female incubate eggs. In the case of female rabbits, we are taking considering two hormones. Two hormones means which hormones? Estrogen and progesterone. If its ratio is 1 is to 4,000, then what will result? Nest building behavior. Nest building behavior will develop in that rabbit under this ratio. Estrogen 1 and progesterone is 4,000 means progesterone we know it is inducing incubation. Okay. In the case of female mice, when prolactins are more, in the case of female mice, prolactin we know it is inducing the development of crop for feeding the young ones. So, under the influence of prolactin, mice show more parental care. Then we are moving to hormones and aggressive behavior. Before that, I am removing this in parts. Then, responsible hormone for aggressive behavior is testosterone. Which hormone is responsible? It is testosterone. So whenever if you find that a male is getting more angry, only thing just to reduce his testosterone level in the body, then he will become more silent and calm. Okay. Then hormones and St. Martin behavior. Example, we are taking the case of Mongolian gerbil. This picture is given here. In the case of this Mongolian gerbil, um, if the testosterone is removed, if it doesn't have testosterone, then there is no St. Martin. So this is another example for the role of hormone in St. Martin behavior. Here the testosterone is causing that St. Martin behavior. When it is removed, then there is no St. Martin. Then sociobiology. We are moving to another section, sociobiology. What is sociobiology? It is a study of biological basis of social behavior. Behavior means we also are a social being. We all living in groups and forming families and relationships are there. So study of such type of social behavior is called the sociobiology. This sociobiology, that branch is more get more popularized after the contributions of Edward O. Wilson. He is an American biologist. And social organization. What is social organizations? It refers to populations, not to individual. Social organization refers to populations, not to any single individual. What is the peculiarity? It is rigid and also species specific. In a particular social group, only one species be present. Then we are going to see different social groups. And before that, we need to understand what is social group. Social groups means it's a stable group, and also they are intercommunicating and also bear some permanent social relationship. All these terms are important. Stable, they intercommunicate and social relationship. All these things are important. Okay. Then merits of group system. We are going to see. First merit is it gives protection against predators. How it protect? Because we need to think about the herd of a deer population. Deer population is there, and they are feeding in groups. So suppose they are feeding in groups, deer population, they are feeding in groups, and as they are feeding in groups, some members always watching the surroundings. So whenever an enemy approaches, the group can easily recognize that dangerous situation and can escape. That is one use protection against predators. Chance of escape is more. There is group system is there. Next, stimulation and synchronization of breeding. Because yeah, if a particular organism is living in group, then hormonal cycle of females it get affected by the presence of males. Its reproductive cycle get initiated by the presence of male. That is another merit of this group system. And the third one, feeding efficiency and information sharing. Information sharing for this, it will be more beneficial for some animals if they hunt for their prey group. If they hunt in group, it will become more easy to find its food. An example. Example wolves group is an example for that merit. We can understand that merit. Then we are going to see the demerits of group system. What are the demerits? As organisms start to live in groups, there's chance to have increased intra-sexual competition for to find a mate. For that also, there is more chance to have fighting between males. So intra-sexual competition, that chance also there. And there's more chance of spreading contagious disease. If any disease outbreak happened in a group, then there is more chance and it's very easy to spread that disease among that group. Then xenophobia. Xenophobia means it's a behavior of hatred of strangers. They will not let any stranger to come or approach or to join that group. That is xenophobia. And one other merit is that it's more conspicuous because if a deer, if it passes or it move the forest singly, it's very difficult for its predator to find it. But if they feed or if they are moving in group, it become more conspicuous, or more clear, more easy for predator to find, to locate its population. That's another demerit. Properties of organized societies. According to Eisenberg, there are four properties for animal society. Which are those properties that we are going to see one by one? Communication means what? It is a transfer of information. What is communication? It is a transfer of information. How we are transferring the information? Using signals. Signals include which all type. Visual signals are there, tactile signals are there, auditory signals are there, and also olfactory signals are there. For explaining or understanding the bee communication, um, Carl von Frisch got Nobel Prize in 1973. 1973, who got Nobel Prize? Carl von Frisch. Carl von Frisch spelling I will write for you. Carl Von Frisch. Carl von Frisch got Nobel Prize for understanding the decommunication. Okay. Um, next, next type of next property of society is cohesion. What is cohesion? Cohesion means being together, being stick together. That itself mean here also. Cohesion means it's a preference for choosing to remain closer. That is cohesion. Then division of labor. What is division of labor? Division of labor means in a colony, different individuals will be there, and there will be different categories of individuals according to their job. Diversification of job is there in some colonies. For example, honeybee colony. We can see different groups of honeybee that are doing different works. Then another property is permanence and impermeability. Means that society always remain permanent, and it will not let any type of emigration or immigration. Next is altruism and kin selection. What is this altruism? For understanding altruism, we need to take the case of a spider. In the case of spider, the mother spider, at the time of giving birth to his egg ones, the mother dies because the mother is sacrificing her life for the welfare of the next generation. So a sacrifice is there. That sacrifice is called altruism. And because of that sacrifice, who is benefited? That spider's relatives, kins are benefited. So it is called kin selection. So and one more thing, what's the benefit of altruism? Altruism increases the chances of reproduction. Okay, that is in a natural selection always supports this altruism because it favors successful reproduction. Uh, we need to take the example of honeybee also for understanding its altruism. In honeybee colony, workers are sterile females. They, by being sterile, they work for the entire colony. For being becoming sterile is a type of sacrifice. They are not participating in giving rise to next generation. In that way, they are also sacrificing for the rest of the colony. That's another example. Next is social groups in mammals. Social groups in mammals are of three types. First is dominance hierarchy. Dominance hierarchy means in a group there will be a dominant individual. That dominant individual most probably be a male. And in that dominant male, the level of testosterone will be very high. In such a situation, if we inject some amount of testosterone in the body of other males of that colony, then it will disturb the harmony of that colony. Then they start to fight each other to get the dominance. That's another important feature of dominance hierarchy, and one merit is there because as each individual of that colony group is getting a rank, there's less chance of having a fight with each other. And how can we understand who is dominant in a group? By taking the case of male baboon, in this case, the dominant male always walk by erecting his tail. Say mannerism. With that mannerism, we can understand who is the dominant one. Next is territorial behavior. Territorial. What is territory? Territory means animals mark an areas of its own, and at the same time it prevent other individuals of a species from encroaching its territory. And all this territory will have a core area. A core area is the most favorite area for that animal. Most favorite. And in that area will be this animal spend most of its time for resting, feeding, everything. What is the advantage of having this territory? By having a territory, the animal become more familiar with each nook and corner of that area. He know after going where he could find some water, to find food where he need to go. Everything he can know about this area, particularly marked territorial area. It's a benefit of territory. Territorial behavior is another character of the social groups. Next is about mating groups and mating strategies. There are mainly three mating groups exist. First one is called monogamy. Monogamy means single. Mono means single. In this type of grouping, there exists only one male to one female. And this type of grouping only lasts for long. And this type of mating is common in vertebrates, in all vertebrates. Then coming to another type of mating group, that is polygamy. Polygamy. Poly means many. Here, one of the partners number will be more. That is polygamy. And this polygamy is common in mammals. And polygamy are of two types. First one is polygyny. Poly means many, gyne means female, more number of female. In such grouping, there will be only one male and so many female. That's why polygyny. And another polygamous group is polyandry. Poly means many, andry means male. Here there is only one female but many male. This is polyandry. And the third type of grouping is called promiscuity. And it is a non it is a no lo- a, not a long term bonding. It is only very short duration, only for the time of copulation, and it is common in rodents. It is common in rodents. That is called the promiscuity. Only for a short period, there is a bonding is happening, and that bonding itself happening at the time of copulation. Example in the case of rodents. Social life in selected non-primate mammals. First, we need to understand what is non-primate. Non-primate means, before that, we need to understand what is primates. Primates means they have more advanced brain, a large, voluminous and complicated forebrain when compared to non-primates. And advanced communication skill also these primates possess when compared with the non-primates. And the primates have well developed vision, excellent sight. These are small difference of primates when compared to non-primates. Okay. Then we are going to take the case of so many non-primate mammals and going to understand how is their grouping, how is their family. First is about lion. Um, there is a name for the lion's family. What's that name? It is Pride. Lion's family name is Pride. 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 And in that pride, It is composed of 3 adult males. 3 adult males will be there, plus 15 to 17 females and the young ones. That will form a pride. And that lion's social group have another name. Another name, that is matriarchal system. Matriarchal system, I will give you the spelling. Matriarchal. Matriarchal system. The social group is named as matriarchal system. In that system, there will be a core group. A core group will be there. And that core group is formed by related females. Core group is formed by related females, and males have only temporary membership. Males have only temporary membership. And during breeding season, the dominant adult males start to associate with the females. This is about the nature of their social group. Okay. The name of their group is called pride, and their social grouping have another name, that is the matriarchal system. A core group is there. Core is mainly composed of related females. Males have only temporary membership. During breeding season only dominant adult males come and start to associate with the group of females. And also when in that lion's family, when young cubs become sexually mature, they will be driven away from the pride, from their family. That's about lions grouping. Next we are going to see about elephants. Elephant social group. And here also core group is there, and the core group is always composed of female. Females are the male factor. Females plus young ones. Females plus young ones constitute the core of the group. Their social grouping is also called matriarchal society, and the herd is led by females. And for getting a female, male need to fight, and their mating time is usually in the rainy season. Then what about its gestation period? Gestation period about 20 months. 20 months, that much duration is required for their gestation. So 20 months, that may be of 608 days. The case of Asian elephants. But while coming to African elephants, the number of months is more. That is 22 months. 22 months is required in the case of African elephants. What about the weight of the calves? Over 200 pounds. Over 200 pounds is the weight of the calves. And the calves are usually nursed for 2 to 3 years. Till 2 to 3 years, the calves will be nursed. And they are showing good parental care. How they are showing their parental care? Through frequent touch. And whenever see any obstacle, they just lift the babies and protect the babies from danger, hot sun. In all these way, they express their parental care. That's about elephant social grouping. Next is social life in primates. What are primates that I already explained to you? And this primates we also included in this classification, in this group. Other examples are prosimians. Prosimians, I will show this is the prosimians. Monkeys comes under this group. Apes. Apes are there. Then humans also comes under this group. What are the distinguishing character of these primates? Their mode of information transmission using verbal and non-verbal mediums. It's a distinguishing character. First, we are going to see the social life in chimpanzee. What is the name of the social group of chimpanzee, they're called communities. They're called communities, and each community composed of 50 chimpanzees. 50 chimpanzee. It is of 6 to 8 adult males, and the twice the number is that of adult females. And that 50 chimpanzees, what all types are included in that groups? About 6 to 8 will be adult males, and the remaining means that number is twice the number of these males are of females. This about the that individual members of a community. Community means the social group of this chimpanzee. The size of the community, it depends on the availability of seasonal resources. Size of the community is determined by the availability of resources. Social life of chimpanzees depend on what? It depend on learned behaviors, and also they are somewhat similar to humans. Like humans, elders itself teaching their younger ones. Social action like love, everything is there in the chimpanzees group also. And also they know how to wrestle, how to chase, play, bite, somersault. All these actions also they are also showing. So that about their social life. Through by doing all these things, they are leading the social life. Then coming to the social life of gorilla. Gorilla is the largest primate. Gorilla is the largest primate, and its tallness is about 1.8 meter. 1.8 meter tall. And what about the male? Male means that leader of the group, adult mature male. What are his features? I will show you an image. This is the male adult leader of the gorilla group. Look at his picture. A light saddle of nearly white fur. We can see on its back that runs from the head, back of the head towards the lower part of the body. And those chimpanzees, sorry, so those gorillas having this saddle-like fur is called a silverback gorilla, and he is the leader. And coming back, and one group contains one, and considering a single group, it is composed of 1 to 2 silverbacks. Then there will be 6 females. Several juveniles also will be there, and also their infants. That will form one group. Once more, 1 to 2 silverbacks, 6 females. Then there were several juveniles and infants. What about the social life? Social life are dominant silverback. Silverback is the dominant. That only involves in breeding, in courtship with the females. And he itself decide where the group can sleep or from where they can feed. And that silverback itself is the center of attraction for the females. And all the females are strongly bonded to the silverback. They are all very much fond of them. Then females, and regarding the females, all the females are actually steal from other families. And there will be more than one females in the group that I already told you. And the females are ranked in their chronological order. Chronological order means which female is still first, and which is still second type, which is still third type. In that way, there is ranking also exists in the group. Then regarding the hygiene means they take their own toilet routines, because they are giving that much attention towards their hygiene matters. Then who is leading? Who is the ruler? And when one become mature and become silverback, that will be the leader, and when he lost the pride, then give chance to a next male, next adult male. Regarding the parental care means the males oftenly used to kill the infants. Why they are killing the infants? Only to encourage the females to uh, to become receptive sooner, to make they to encourage females again to start a courtship. For that, they always show the habit of killing their infants. That's about the parental care. So not that much good. And another unique feature also there. Females, regarding the females itself, females always they need to leave their native group, and also regarding the male, still the time a male is getting a partner, till that time he need to spend a lonely life, understand, because till the time he can steal a female from another family, up to that time he need to spend a lonely life. When he can steal a female, then he can start a family life. That's about the social life of gorillas. Next we are going to another section, that is social stress. What is that? Social stress means something unfavorable. So before that, we need to understand that every living beings always prefer to maintain a homeostasis. Homeostasis, equilibrium. Homeostasis means equilibrium. So stress always disturbs this homeostasis. Stress means it includes very adverse climate, diseases. All these are stresses that is disturbing the homeostasis. And that term is introduced by Cannon. Then causes for the stress. Can move to next slide. Causes for the stress. Which are the causes? Social conflict is one reason. Intolerance, overcrowding also may lead to some disturbances. So all these factors also cause some stress. Then what happens as a result of stress? What will ends up finally if a stress happens? It results in aggressive behavior in social group, violence, social destruction. All things that may happen in a social group whenever stress emerges. Then what are the problems of overcrowding? We can guess that fecundity will be reduced. Fecundity means that reproducibility will decrease, and also many of the individuals become fail to attain sexual maturity, and pregnancy rate also be greatly reduced. All these are the adverse effect. How the animal respond to stressful situation? Um, that is mainly by the action of autonomic nervous system and adrenal medulla. With the help of autonomic nervous system and adrenal medulla, animals are usually cope up with the adverse situation. Autonomic nervous system, we know that it usually controls all involuntary actions. Autonomic nervous system. So if that stressful situation continues, which part of the brain is involving to rectify, to escape from the adverse situation? Adrenal cortex is involving if that stressful situation is continuing. Okay, stress in the case of mammals. So is that when stress happens, level of ACTH will increase, and that may result the hypertrophy of adrenal over expression of adrenal cortex, adrenal glands cortex portion, and also involution of thymus gland. Involution means turning in, അകത്തേക്ക് വളയുക, that is involution. Thymus gland, involution of thymus gland also happen, And as a result of involution of thymus gland, what will happen? What will ends up? That individual become more prone to infections and cancer. That's one adverse effect. And because of hypertrophy, what will result? It will ends up in increased level of cortical hormone. That also an unfavorable condition. These are the result of stress. In this way, mammals body is responding in stressful situations. Then what are the changes happen when exposed to stressful condition? What are the changes happen? Autonomic nervous system, I already told you that at that time autonomic nervous system become more active. Then sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system is a part of autonomic nervous system. So along with the adrenal medulla, sympathetic nervous system works jointly, and they work together to meet that emergency situation. And sometimes that action may ends up in the death of the animal. Anyway, the body try to adjust with the situation uh, to meet that emergency, but even that at some time that may ends up in the death of the animal. Next, vagal death. What is meant by vagal death? Vagal death. Vagal death means uh, fainting at the sight of blood. Some person have that problem. Whenever they happen to see blood, they swoon. At the moment itself, that person may swoon. Swoon means they become unconscious. This happens when body react to a situation. Body reacts vigorously to a situation. And final conclusion about the reason of death is that exhaustion of carbohydrate reserve is one reason. What's the reason? Because of stress. What is the because of stress? If a person happen to death, what's the ultimate reason behind his death? One is the exhaustion. Complete carbohydrate reserves are empties up. Hypoglycemia, low sugar level. Then one more thing, failure of nervous system or the heart muscle. All these are maybe the reason behind the death of person because of that stress. Then we are moving to pheromones and chemical communication. Pheromone, that term is coined by Carlson and Lesher. And what is pheromones? Pheromones are certain substances secreted to outside, and that substance is received by another. Pheromones actually, suppose this is a dog, dog, and he is secreting a pheromone, and this pheromone is um, what is received by another dog, and and according to that the second dog reacts. So pheromones, what are pheromones? They are chemical substance that is secreting to outside, and that pheromones, its signal is received by another one and it will react to that pheromone accordingly. Next, um, two important attributes of pheromones. Important property. Which are the two properties? Pheromones are always species specific and it can evoke a well-defined behavior in the recipient. Then how it affects? It affects through olfaction, then through ingestion or absorption. Through all this way, it affects the other ingredient. Classification of pheromones. Pheromones are of three types: signaling or releaser pheromones, primer pheromones, and imprinting pheromones. Let us see each type one by one. First one is signaling or releaser pheromones. How it is affecting? its action is very fast, very immediate reaction it can cause the signaling or release of pheromones. And its action is mediated through central nervous system. Example is sex attractants, alarm pheromones, trail pheromones, etc. The next is primer pheromones. Primer pheromones, how they are acting, how they are making its effect to neurohumoral and hormonal changes. Neurohumoral means by the way of nerves and as well as circulatory system. And its effect is very slow. Example, these primer pheromones are actually responsible for pseudo pregnancy. What is pseudo pregnancy? Pseudo pregnancy means actually that organism is not pregnant, but it shows all the symptoms that it were pregnant. That is pseudo pregnancy. Actually, it is not pregnant. And implantation failure, because failure to implant the fetus, that for that condition also caused because of this primer pheromones. Next is imprinting pheromones. Imprinting pheromones, where it is acting especially its effect we are observed in infants. It acts to central nervous system, and because of its action, permanent modification is happening in behavior of the infant later in the adult stage. That is imprinting pheromones. Next, we are going to next slide, that is insect pheromones. So it's also very important. Insect pheromones. Insect pheromones are of different types. They are alarm pheromones, trail pheromones, and cune mandibular pheromones. First is alarm pheromones. When the insects produce this alarm pheromones, whenever it meets some threat or danger, at that time the insect produce this alarm pheromones. We also so many times we also happen to see that some ants, this one is ant is moving and it finds some obstacle or anything, and it is conveying that message to some mother by touching its antenna. In that way they are conveying that message. And so an example for the action of alarm pheromones, goes one, again, so for example, ant is releasing a pheromone, and the other member of his group detect that pheromones, and do whatever according to the situation. These alarm pheromones. Next is trail pheromone. Trail pheromone means its main purpose is to guide its other members of its group to the site of the food. It's the main function of this trail pheromone. What is the peculiarity? But it get evaporate fast. It's a peculiarity. Then next is cune mandibular pheromone. Cune mandibular pheromone, its purpose is to attract the workers. From where this cune mandibular pheromone is secreting? Yeah, as it is mentioned in the name itself, is secreted from the cune's mandibular gland. Then what is this mandibular gland? Mandibular gland is a pair of glands seen on the lower jaw on its either side. That is the mandibular gland. From that mandibular gland, this pheromone is secreting to attract the workers. Chemically, that pheromone is a mixture of unsaturated fatty acid. It also has a primer effect. Because of that primer effect, the workers are not developing ovaries or ovaries. Okay, ovary. Next, sex attractants. What's the purpose? It's very clear. What's the purpose? To attract opposite sex, and is usually produced by females. Example in silkworm moth, Bombay cold, and gyploor in the case of female gypsy moth. And these are the sex attractants. Example for sex attractants. Next, what about its potentiality? What is its potential? It can attract from far. Far means it can attract its mate from even 13 kilometer away. Example we are considering here is mealworm's case. This mealworm produce, suppose consider this is the mealworm. This mealworm produce that pheromone. We can use another color. Mealworm produce this pheromones, and which worm, which sex worm is producing that pheromone? Certainly the female worm producing that pheromone, and upon sensing that pheromone, who will approach the male, will approach that female and produce it another pheromone. Its name is anti-aphrodisiac pheromone. Anti-aphrodisiac pheromone secreted by the the male that approaches the female. And what is the purpose of this pheromone? This pheromone dissuade other males from approaching this female. Dissuade means prevent other males from approaching this. This is the mealworm's case. Once more, this worm produces pheromones and it attracts its male partner, and after approaching this female, it produces another pheromone, anti-aphrodisiac pheromone, and it prevent or dissuade other male from approaching this female. Then about the wasp. Wasp use this type of sex attractive pheromones to recognize its host. Only to recognize its host, wasp is using this sex attractants. In the case of a cockroach, let me to remove all the in the case of cockroach, what is happening? Male cockroach is there. Male cockroach, I will show you. Male cockroach, it produces a pheromone called seducin, and this is produced by male cockroach, and female cockroach come and start to nibble on, means start to feed on this seducin during its copulation. In that way, it is helping its reproduction. It's about cockroach. Then bola spiders. I will show you what is happening there. In bola spiders, what they are doing? Suppose this is the spider. This spider produce a particular pheromone, and this pheromone mimics another pheromone, that is produced by a night flying moth. Female night flying moth. This pheromone actually produced by this spider. This spider, bola spider, imitates, resembles exactly like that of the pheromone produced by a female night flying moth. So attracted by this pheromone, thinking that it is a pheromone secreted by its partner, its male approaches the spider and the spider will feed on that male moth. That in that way, for this purpose, this bola spider is using sex apparatus. Okay. Next, the case of salt marsh moth. In case of salt marsh moth, both the sexes produce pheromone, and because of that, its mating is happening. Group mating is happening. Next, we are going to see about mammalian pheromones. What is the purpose of using pheromones in mammals? For their species and racial identity, for group recognition, for individual identity, identity of sex, for attracting opposite sex, for etc. etc. For all these things, they are secreting. Mammals are secreting pheromones. Then we are going to see which are the sources, of mammalian pheromone. It is from where it is secreted. It is secreted from the cutaneous gland or scent glands. Secreted from cutaneous gland or scent gland. And this type of pheromones are highly developed in nocturnal. Nocturnal means species that is dwelling or moving mostly in night time. Okay. How they are disseminating, how they are discharging that pheromones. Sometimes it is directly to the environment or sometimes through urine or fecal matter. And in some situation that pheromones is secreted through vaginal secretion or saliva. So medium method of disseminating the pheromones. Example, Cibitone by Cibit and also Muscone by Muskia. These are the two examples of mammalian pheromones. Then deposition of pheromones. How the pheromones are depositing? Sometimes it is depositing on a specific object in the environment. Sometimes that deposition happens on a substrate and that substrate will not be specific. That means any species can discharge the pheromones on any substrate without any predetermination. And sometimes it secretes that pheromones on the body of its social partner. And these are the locations. These are the way to deposit the pheromones. Then coming to scent marking. Scent marking, what's the definition? The odor donor perform a specialized act of behavior and which that facilitates the transfer of odor to specific site. How that scent marking is happening? Scent marking, that odor, which organism is producing the odor, that organism perform a specialized act or behavior. Because of that act or behavior, that donor facilitate the transfer of that scent marking pheromone to certain specific site. Then the scent marking are of two types, passive marking and active marking. Passive marking means it's not a purposeful, deliberate marking. It is happening without the knowledge of the animal naturally. It's a non-specific liberation. These pheromones are disseminated as the animal travels by. Then active marking means it's a purposeful, deliberate discharge of the pheromones. And that also happens through urine or fecal matter. That's about the scent marking. Then For example, for the scent marking, I will give one example. The male lion marks its territory by discharging the urine. And also another example, male hippopotamus. It marks its way from its feeding ground. This male, this male hippopotamus marks the way between its feeding ground and and its waters, aquatic resting place. It marks that way. How it is marking? By discharging its dung. Oh, sorry. Again, I missed. Discharging the dung in selected area. It marks is that it marks the path between the aquatic resting place and the feeding ground. Okay, it's another example for sen marking. And we are going to see the mammalian primer pheromone. Primer pheromone, we know that its action is very slow. Mode of action, it acts through neurohumoral and the hormonal changes. Neurohumoral means the transfer of that hormones happens with the help of nerves. Some common examples of primer pheromone. Um, First, pheromonal interaction between females. I will show you. Some caged female rats are here. And because of their close interaction, their estrous cycle becomes stopped and results in, and there is no male rat, that also we need to mention. And in the absence of male rat, and because of the close interaction between these female rats, a primer pheromone is produced here. It's a contact primer pheromone. Because of that, pseudo pregnancy occurs among these female rats. That means its estrous cycle stop. That is the pheromonal interaction between the females. next next is male induction of estrus. Witten effect, very important, can be asked for your examination. So this is that group of female rats that are in pseudo pregnant stage, and this is a male rat. It is introducing among this female mice who were in pseudo pregnancy. Then suddenly their estrous cycle again resumes synchronously altogether. Here the pheromone, this effect is called the Witten effect. Here the pheromone acting is the male urine. This is the operating pheromone here. This is Witten effect. Then next is Bruce effect. What is Bruce effect? Male induced implantation failure. I will show you. This is one maize. Let's again started its estrous cycle and get inseminated from the that particular male rat. Then this mice is again exposed to an alien male, means a different male rat. When it is in contact with the different male other than the first one, then its implantation fail. Implantation of fetus become fail after 5 days. This is called implantation failure. Reason is the presence of an alien male. That effect is called Bruce effect. Okay. Here the operating pheromone also, operating pheromone is the urine of align male. Because of that, this align male's urine, what it is actually doing, it causes the pituitary to increase the secretion of LH. The LH is mainly responsible to start again the estrous cycle, and also that LH causes a decrease in the prolactin secretion. Prolactin is necessary to proceed that pregnancy. So that's the thing happened here. Next, I will show you Vanderberg effect. Vanderberg. All these effects are very important. Vanderberg effect means it's another a group of males, caged adult males, and among this group of females, what I told, a male or female. Anyway, mistakenly I told you as male. Actually, it is female. Group of female rats. To this group of female rat, what we are doing? We are introducing a baby mice, male mice. Just only weaned, not weaning. It's not MN. Weaned, just weaned male mice. Weaned means it has stopped taking milk from its mother. This weaned mice. This mice is introducing to its cage, and after that it attains its maturity very fast. That is Vanderberg effect. Okay. Next, we are going to see vomeronasal organ. What is vomeronasal organ? It is an accessory supporting olfactory organ. Accessory olfactory organ. Where is its position? Somewhat here in the upper jaw. So is its position. That vomeronasal organ is a patch of receptor tissue in the nasal cavity. Neurons from the vomeronasal passes through a separate path to the brain. First, it connects with the hypothalamus. So, what's the function? It is the receptor for non-volatile. Volatile means the substance that can be easily evaporated. So, non-volatile substances like pheromones. So, it can recognize pheromones, which can recognize vomeronasal organ. Fluchman response. Fluchman response. What is Fluchman response? It is a curious response of males to the urine of estrus female. Urine of a female who is going on its estrus cycle. How this response is doing? By raising the head, turning the back lips, and wrinkle the nose. I will show that response in a video. Here shown by a tiger. It's closely to watch the mannerism of the tiger. Wrinkling his nose and jaws to show that Fluchman's. This is the response. Fluchman's response. Okay. Then to bring this, what's the purpose of this Fluchman response? To bring vomeronasal organ into the to make it contact with the smell, and it is a sexually stimulating action. Sexually stimulating. By gaining that smell, that male may get stimulated sexually, and it try to have a courtship with its female. Then coming to human pheromones. With regard to pheromones, in the case of human, there is sexual dimorphism is there. Important effect is MC-Clintock effect. That also can be asked as question for your examination. What is MC-Clintock effect? It is a synchronization of menstrual cycle. That study was done by Martha MC Clintock in 1971. What she do? Uh, she did this experiment among a group of females who were uh, living in a single dormitory, and she take the swab from their underarm of which which females, those who were in menstrual cycle, and then give that pad to give or then she placed this swab, that cotton swab, just below the nose of other females. Then they also start their menstrual cycle. That is synchronization of menstrual cycle. That means the swab that taken from the underarm contains some pheromones that make the facilitate the synchronization of menstrual cycle among the females who were in close contact. Then there is another pheromone, that is copulin. Copulin is a pheromone usually used to secreted by female during their estrous cycle or ovulation time. And because of under the influence of this copulin pheromone, even unattractive ladies seems to be attractive to males. Males feel attraction towards those ladies who were unattractive. That attraction happened mainly because of this copulin pheromone secreted during the ovulation time of that lady. And also infant odor. It's proved that a mother can understand the odor of her baby before he or she is born. That also because of the power of pheromone. And the last one, which are the sources of human pheromone? From where all this human pheromone can be secreted? From odoriferous glands in skin, from the mammary gland, and also from the saliva. Okay, with this we finish ethology. Thank you.